Metal Podcast. Listening to There Is No God. Podcast.
Christina Scabbia of Lacuna Coil has won the best social media artist. Her Instagram account can be found in the show notes, as well as her link tree, where you can follow her on Instagram, Threads, and all her other social media, hence why she has won Best Social Media Artist. And there's a bunch of content on there available for you to check out. So on this episode here today, I have basically entirely it's artist spotlight, an upcoming album, and artist birthdays. Before I get to just quick discussion on real news and how to obtain it and where you're sourcing it from. But the subtopic here that I have too, before we get into those social medias, is the massive changes to all the apps that has been happening. I found that X is banned in Brazil. I've got to even skip over my notes here just to get to this here, because Twitch is banned and prohibited in Korea, where people cannot make money off of streaming Twitch in Korea. And if it starts, that's how it starts. If it starts there, who knows where else that kind of dictatorship is gonna branch off to, because people are making money and making a career of streaming on Twitch, and then Koreans can't. They're prohibited from hosting streams, or at least they're prohibited from earning income from Twitch. I'd like to be interested to see how much of a hand that Jeff Bezos and Amazon has to do with that, but that's a rabbit hole for another day. All the other changes across massive apps include Bandcamp, where it's gone, why it left the Google Play Store and then came back, but I have re-obtained my Bandcamp app, the fan app, and then was using the artist app as well as the fan app, only available in desktop version. But going back to Twitch again, I don't mean to confuse you a little bit, but Twitch does look a little different. It makes it more difficult to find new stuff, but that's just from the difference in display, and there's a big arrangement like similar to TikTok with how Twitch is right now, but it's mostly even just to find my artists that I follow or streamers that I follow, rather to have them the app not looking like TikTok. But Twitch looks different. X is banned in Brazil. Bandcamp had some issues and didn't announce this to anybody. And I kept some current news on that following on my shorts on my official mickeygemineye YouTube channel. Koreans are prohibited from hosting streams and earning income on Twitch. And altered content is now an option that you must be specified now on your YouTube videos. I'm not sure if you know this, but I definitely do not want to come across somebody who does not know this or know how to do this, or have to hear me say it, so I have to say it right now. That your option of saying that the content you're uploading is altered, an AI version, or represents a false scene or something like that. This is due to a lot of the big boom happening in all the social media. So as far as subtopic number 2 goes, following up the Metal Hammer Germany Awards for Christina Scabbia of the Lacuna Coil, earning Best Social Media Artist. She announced it on a short on her Instagram where she's in bed with her award, and I highly suggest you check it out. Therefore, the Instagram for her profile is available on the show notes. Now, let's get into this long artist spotlight that I have for today, as Afsky has a new album, and it has definitely some big shoes to fill with 100R and the other albums that this band has made. I had the pleasure of interviewing this artist, though that was not broadcasted, and then having the interactions with this artist too makes it very pleasurable experience to talk music and talk black metal with this guy. But the new album is going to be revealed pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. As for the last ones, including 100R, traditional black metal with lyrical themes, deep and heavy, obscure pagan emphasis from Sweden. Another band of similar proportions, though I found Afsky through similar artists on Spotify. I found this artist, Skuggor, from Black Metal Promotion, that is got a few albums recently out called Sköney and Whispers of Ancient Spells, with imagery on the album cover of pine trees and a very black and white style photographic filter. Haven't read anything about this, but it's some really good black metal that I highly suggest you check out. Following that up are a couple artists mentioned on the next episode of this show that were featured on the Metal Hammer UK September 2024 issue of the magazine Metal Hammer, and so I cannot speak on them too much, but it's quite interesting to see an artist like Mimi Barks that creates doom trap references the fact of why she does all of that. So make sure you check out the next episode if you want to hear more about this artist. As far as getting some featuring of that content on any of this, it's kind of out of the question, considering that you, with a disclaimer, can feature these songs and can feature other people's content when you say that you're not earning money off of it. However, I haven't had that kind of cooperation from YouTube. They don't comply with my disclaimer. When I tell them I'm not making money on this content, keep this up, I'm still flagged for copyright. So for the time being, I'll just have to enjoy it personally myself, listening to bands like Mimi Barks and the following as well. Zeal Ardor also feature on the next episode. As far as my stuff goes too, you cannot miss this new release that just came out today as I'm recording this episode. The new black metal project that has a few different styles to it is going to need to be the root and mother project of future projects, as it has displayed traditional black metal, psychedelic black metal, and the most recent LP, Barbados, as atmospheric black metal. I have added minimal vocals and surely dissonant atmospheric black metal on this album. So whatever other projects that come out after this, I'm definitely going to let you know right now. What I'm aiming for is what's most natural, and what's most natural for sure is the atmospheric side of the black metal genre. My link tree is available in the show notes right below that. Here on the Artist Spotlight, I'm continuing on with Neamh, Marbh, the self-titled album from this artist that I had the pleasure of getting an okay from having an interview, so let's hope, fingers crossed, I can get them on the show pretty soon. They have a side project called Veln, and I went through here on this quick rundown of what I heard. On the first album, on the first artist, distorted tin can sounding recordings that I personally prefer. It could just be referenced as lo-fi, with narratives matching hermetic rites and ritual, naked women possibly pointing towards Sheela Na Gig, an ancient pagan goddess, and Veln's progressive Blackened is how it's defined. It has a stable high octave vocal range and melodic guitar riffs, and artwork that doesn't betray the style of traditional black metal. Next and last on the Artist Spotlight is Primordial, the work of Alan Averill, and his few albums that I had the chance to check out, and this is my also quick rundown of it. All Empires Fall, The Forgotten Dead, and Adam Rama sum up to me as all three of these. The previous three black metal bands are from Ireland. Though they have different styles, the themes of traditional pagan and Celtic cultures are there, primordial with the Cernunnos reference and the horned logo, unless they're just horny. Not to be joked around with. I don't even know why I wrote that shit. I fucking write so much shit, I don't even know why the fuck I wrote that. Neamh Marbh with the green cloaked naked woman's breasts, indicating more pagan goddess imagery, such as the pagan goddess Sheela Na Gig. And those albums really just they have like such a separate style to it, or one of them's more traditional. You can't believe this guy's fucking vocal range and his podcasts and stuff like that. So the podcast and his Bandcamp, as well as the YouTube, should be available in the show notes by the time this episode is published as well. Birthdays are next and last before the final conversation. Birthdays of artists. So far all I have is Eric Andreas Vingback, or real name Nicholas Shagnew. It's debatable which one is the real name. Nicholas Shagnew is how he's referred to as the frontman of Dark Funeral, Swedish black metal. Happy birthday from September 9th. He is 41. Find all the information you need on this artist at metal-archives.com. Birthdays for the bands. That's where we have September and October all lined up for you. Starting with Cradle of Filth, an amphetamine released in 2004. Cryptoriana in 2017. That's Cryptoriana and the Seductiveness of Decay. If you're interested in hearing my personal journey with all of the Cradle of Filth discography, I mentioned a little bit about it on a previous episode. Dusk and Her Embrace, released in 1996. Cruelty and the Beast, 1998. And that is all that I have for you for September. October. Now these two bands rather, are actually not black metal. So I will briefly brush over these and emphasize that they simply are more of a popular new metal. Korn, Life is Peachy's birthdays coming up here in October. Trivium's birthday has a Ember to Inferno having been released for their birthday pretty soon. And the big one, I Loved You at Your Darkest by Behemoth, released in 2018, an exceptional black metal staple. Before I close off with birthdays on the last and final Cradle of Filth birthdays. They always release at fall and autumn at the end of the year. No surprise, big shocker. Why am I not surprised? And the 5 albums that are having birthdays in the month of October for Cradle of Filth are as such. Thornography, Existence is Futile, released in 2021. Godspeed on the Devil's Thunder, 2008. Manticore and Other Horrors, that's the 2013 release. And the Midian album of the Ray Bradbury, based on the Ray Bradbury. These are all concept albums of Cradle of Filth, but that's a Ray Bradbury reference. Released in 2000. Now we shall get into the main topic of this episode, and that is real news. And I have to also deflate whatever you have, like bubble or balloon you've inflated and it got excited about, considering that all I really have to say is get your news from real sources, like info about Spotify, go to Spotify, and YouTube, and Twitch, go to Twitch, etc., etc. The end. That's all I got for you guys. Episode fucking 38 of the Vault of Doom podcast has drawn to a quick, swift halt. I am mickeygemineye. This is the Vault of Doom, and I'll catch you guys later. Whatever. So this is what I have written down for this episode, and it is extremely feeling like an automation, or at least should feel like that, considering how many people are using AI. But my Facebook account was hacked, and I am simply not going to even put in the time to look into it. So if I'm not going to put in the time to look into it, I also shouldn't spend too much time talking about it, even though I have this platform of expression. So going over this is going to literally end at the end of the paragraph, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs, so buckle up. I have written the following words, and I'll read them now. News and information pulled from the direct source of the topic, such as Spotify news or YouTube news found on Spotify and YouTube, is what I bring. These are both easy for me through emails I get, and just as easy when looking for the info I need. Then I record what I found and bring it to you, making the info credibility increase. But I can't stress it enough, I am not a qualified journalist as much as I am an independent one. As in, I have the mind of one and the experience of one in live streaming, but now that I'm dialed into doing pre-recorded shows for you guys, I've broken even in that I'm used to doing live streams, and before live stream even was a thing, I recorded my episodes and uploaded them immediately without any editing when the show was conceived in 2013. Which means it's time for this season to have a little spice added in, and life stories of supernatural and drugs are what go well with news about the metal scene, but the interviews are the coup de grace. As my last two were already sent off to nowhere due to technical malfunctions, it's been made right with proper and effective communication. I spoke to the artists after the technical difficulties, and we are still on good terms. They didn't get too pissed off at me, so that's cool. And this is the same as what I ask of the viewers. If you like or dislike, at any rate, send your feedback, show some support, and keep this show of good professional quality. I definitely require the feedback, and I appreciate everything I get, as well as the donations I get. I appreciate every donation that I get, which you can help with if you mosey onto the link tree in the description, as well as find the cash tag on the top of my X profile. Best way to contact me for guest appearance, if I haven't already scouted you out and sent an invite, is Instagram, Twitter, or Threads. I check each one equally. Where I have an email for contact is only those who already have it, so I'm looking forward to meeting a few more of you folks this year, and I'm ready for the next lineup as best as I can be. This is not a new show, but it does have a lot of new things due to the converting from live stream on Facebook. Facebook has banned me and will not respond to any appeal, so I choose not to bother. There should be a way to fix it, but I am too busy doing this to really care. I frequent Instagram, and though it is also a meta company, they've also given me problems that were never officially fixed and appear to be fixed by a mere glitch, as it's connected to my Instagram account. So the error message is that a fake account I've never heard of or seen has not been following the rules, and this account was suspended permanently. My account. All my appeals have been ignored, and the Instagram was almost taken down with it, aside from the little glitch. So my Instagram is still working. Something is fishy there, and I don't need to be paranoid to notice an infringement on my personal freedom. And this is social media. So it's the social media stint is how it starts, unfortunately. For whatever or whoever is responsible, speaking out is also how it starts, and getting my online presence recovered. But clearly, this is what the situation calls for. An initial appeal, speak out, and then go from there. But I'll burn that bridge when it comes. So let's get going here with the main topic, that Twitch, YouTube, Threads, Instagram, X are providing all the information you need about all these. That's real news for you. I like to provide the news that I would prefer to somebody that gives me, where I'm giving them the stuff that, like, I'm reading this stuff and then I'm giving it to you because I want to read it, so I'd want you to give me the same kind of news. And then I come across other news and stuff, and I found something on an email the other day that was about Auschwitz or something about the Holocaust, and sounds awful. I don't understand why the way that I'm saying it should register in your head, like, hey, maybe a stand-up comic or a stand-up comedian might be able to use this material. And since I'm not that, I can't use that. But it's still there. That I would just be like, oh, that sounds horrible. I mean, because I could also simply even just say it too. I could even just say it and just babble and be another one of the voices babbling in your ear, just like everybody else babbling aimlessly in your ear all fucking day long. But why the fuck would anybody want to go to a goddamn Auschwitz Holocaust museum and shit? That's the stupidest fucking thing ever. Honestly, it really is. Just saying. So for me to try to even sound like I'm validating too, that's another thing and another point to be saying about, like, the news that I'm going to give you is the news that I would want you to give me, or something like that. But I consume the news on the magazines. I consume the news through the news articles on my Google feed and Discovery at times. And then I've come across other little stuff. It's the collective, it's having all the stuff collected, bundled together in one piece. That's what makes it something special. So I hope that if you guys fucking enjoy the show, that you can continue to fucking support it by subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing. And if it does not break your bank or break your pockets too much, or burn a hole in your wallet, just throw some fucking cash my way on the Cash App. You can find it on the top of my X profile. I've recently been dealing with a lot of issues with what I normally do and having some interruptions, very severe interruptions with it, due to my taking a long unannounced break. Now my long unannounced break has a story of its own that needs to be told some other time. But with all the stuff that needs to be cleared out, a great place to start is with a couple different things that I suspect might be the cause of why I'm going through so many problems in my daily life. There is a shroud of sleepiness and lethargy just surrounding my area right now that I live in, and that is a big thing, a big problem, where I'm saying to myself, all I can do is ride really far, go for a long walk or something like that. But I think if I clear up a lot of these things, it might be helpful, as I simply was imparted with a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom and all my life. A lot of people have been giving me a lot of shit, and that's exactly what it's amounted to, just a bunch of people giving me shit. So as for where I'm at with that now, today, I've reached the absolute breaking point where there won't be, it's a stalemate, there won't be a surrender from me to comply with whatever's being expected of me and whatever's being suggested that I do, as I already have my own thing going on and I have been doing it for a while. So clearing all this stuff up might take a while, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and once the smoke clears, I will be back on track with how everything started here. That means me doing this show, me creating my own music, and simply that. That's it. I don't know what else there could be to add other than specific details, and that being the case, I'll drop out right here.